President Trump has threatened to sign an executive order ending automatic citizenship for children of illegal immigrants when they're born on U.S. soil. There are several 100,000 such births every year. In fact, pregnant Mexican women have been invited into the U.S. to give birth under the idea that it's a medical emergency into places like New Mexico. The children return to Mexico with their moms, but then cross the border every day to attend American schools. Joce Sterman reports it's their right as U.S. citizens, but still the subject of controversy.
Columbus, New Mexico. A town of roughly 1,200 people that sits along the U.S.-Mexico border.
There's a lot of interaction because of the school children. 800 kids come across a day. That forces some interaction.
We wake up at 6:30 or 7 in the morning because we need time to get ready. During this time, she washes her face. She puts on her clothes. I do her hair.
Jadine lives just south of Columbus on the Mexican side of the border in a town called Palomas. Every morning, her mother, Patty, walks her to the border.
She crosses the bridge and she gets on the bus. It's a constant routine, 5 days a week.
Marta works in Mexico. She gave birth to her daughter in the United States under a federal policy that impacts New Mexico and part of Texas.
I tell her you were very lucky to be born there.
It allows women to cross the border in certain medical situations deemed to be emergencies, including pregnancies. They're evaluated first at the border, and the women have no legal status, but their newborns get U.S. citizenship. Philip Skinner is the former mayor of Columbus, New Mexico.
Before a few years ago, there was no clinic in Palomas. There's no hospital there, but there was no clinic or anything. And so if a mother got ready to deliver, the closest hospital was Demi.
I have heard comments about that because of tax reasons and because of all the things that they go through in the United States. And they say, why is someone from Mexico coming here only to go to school? Or they're just here to get scholarships. But it's precisely because it is their right. They have to study in the country where they were born.
First and foremost, they're U.S. citizens. I would imagine 99% of them will eventually end up living in the United States, as you would expect a U.S. citizen to do. And those parents are aware of that, and I think they want their children to learn English, to be assimilated into this culture.
Good job. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
It's been this way for over 40 years. Some who live here are accepting. Others are not. Dallas Busta owns a ranch nearby.
Totally against it. Reason being is we pay the taxes here. We feed them, and I'm not racist, but we feed them, and we're paying for their school. They're gonna get Social Security, they get hospitalization, they get Medicare right away for free. We have to pay for ours.
Dan Lear, the retired superintendent from the Columbus area, says educating the kids is a good investment.
If you look at it in the short term, you can say it's a drain on our system. But if you look at the fact that somewhere between 95 and 100% of those kids are going to end up living in the United States as adults, I want to make sure that they're employable, that they can get a job, they can pay taxes, they can contribute.
¿Cómo te fue?
And Patty says her daughter and the other children who cross the border every day
¿A qué hora llegaste, hija?
will contribute.
¿Acabas de bajar? Sí. Ahora, el americano que está en descontento. Now, the Americans that disagree, I would tell them to be patient. Because in the future, the student that is growing up in Mexico but going to school in the United States will have to comply with the country's rules and pay taxes and follow the president's orders and meet the country's requirements.
Jadine told us she hopes to be a teacher one day here in the United States.